All right, I'm excited and eager. Right now, I'm with veteran hero Scott Weaver. Scott, how you doing today?
I'm doing fine. How about you?
I'm doing great, Scott. Hey, Scott Weaver here. He's been in this service for a total of 33 years. And Scott, that's right, you've been in the service for 33 years?
Yes, I was.
Retired with regular Army 13 years and Air Force Reserve 20 years. Wow. Once again, that's 13 years regular Army and 20 years Air Force Reserve. Scott, can you tell us about, and once again, this is Scott Weaver, our veteran hero. Scott, tell us how it all started, huh?
That's interesting.
When did you make that commitment?
Many years ago, me and my mother was watching this series. Now, my mom and dad were divorced, so I did a lot of things with my mom. But anyways, the series was called Combat. It was for about 5 years. So I think I was 12 years old, and me and her watched every episode. Now, there was a guy in those videos into this series that I really liked. And I didn't have a dad, so I made that guy my dad character. And I did my life, my military time around that individual. So at the age of 17, June 24, 75, I told my mother that I was going to enlist in the military. She did not like that, but it was what it was. I would have done Audie Murphy. I would have left the state and went and did Audie Murphy.
What's that mean?
Audie Murphy went in at the age of 16.
Wow.
And I was going to go in one way or the other. But anyways, my mother said, okay, so she signed for me to go in the military. 2 weeks after my 17th birthday, I was at Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri.
1975.
1975.
Okay, and you were stationed where? You're at boot camp?
That Fort Leonard Wood was where I stayed for 13 years.
Oh, wow. The whole time?
Yes.
So you went boot camp there?
AIT there, cadre there, and then I was a drill sergeant.
Okay, and your MOS?
Combat Engineer, 12B10.
And for our folks out there in civilian world, what does an MOS mean?
That's our job that we're given, that we go into when we go in the military, or in the Army.
And your MOS was?
12B10.
Which is what again?
Combat Engineer.
Can you tell us what that entails?
Combat Engineer, the guys that do the minefields, they do the explosives, they build bridges, they blow up bridges, they build roads, they build bridges to go over water, pontoon bridges. The engineers, the combat engineers, the civil engineers, the Seabees actually are the first people that go to a deployment because we're the ones that set up the whole camp. We built the tents, we built the latrines, the places you cook, the places you exercise. The engineers are the ones that go first. Though the special ops and everybody, and Green Berets and the SEALs, they do it as well. But the engineers are the ones that build the camps.
Mm-hmm. Now you also traveled when you were in the Army, regular Army, to Alaska, Washington State, Florida, Georgia, Mississippi. What is it like you get orders to go from one state to the next? How did that work?
Yeah, you get orders, and I've been to Fort Polk, I've been to Georgia, Florida. I've been to all the states except for Hawaii.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the states I did with the Army as well as with the Air Force.
Okay, so let's go there then, right now, since you brought that up. You were in the regular Army for 13 years, and then you immediately got out of the Army and then joined the Air Force Reserve, Category
Yes.
B. And you were in the Army for 13 years and Air Force Reserve for 20 years.
Yes.
Tell us about that Air Force Reserves for 20 years.
Well, to keep my rank from going from the Army to the Air Force, I had to do certain things. I mean, I could have been a drill sergeant for the Air Force, they call it, like a training instructor or so. But I didn't want to do that. Though I loved being a drill sergeant, it wore me down. So I went into security forces, and I was able to maintain my rank with security forces. I did security forces for 7 years. After that 7 years, then I transferred over to the 914th Air Wing, and I went into the civil engineers with the 914th Air Wing, attached to the utility shop.
So in the Army, you were a combat engineer, and then in the Air Force Reserves, you were a civil engineer.
Yes.
Okay, and when you were at the Air Force Reserves, did you travel overseas?
I did.
Where did you go?
Honduras, Germany, all through Europe, Korea. You name it, I've been there.
Okay. So you were a drill sergeant. Where were you a drill sergeant at? What base? For the Army?
Fort Leonard Wood.
What was that like? Fort Leonard Wood? Is that where they lock you up if you did something bad?
No, that's Leavenworth.
Okay, you were a drill sergeant where?
Fort Leonard Wood.
Oh, Leonard Wood.
Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri.
You were okay. Let's.
3 hours from St. Louis, 3 hours from Kansas.
I'm going to cut that. We're going to cut and come back to that. Okay. We're going to repeat that. Okay, Scott Weaver, you were in the regular Army. You were also a drill sergeant. Where were you a drill sergeant at?
Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri.
And how long were you a drill sergeant for?
5 years.
So you really are an expert when it comes to recruits coming into regular Army, being a drill sergeant.
I'm an expert in judging people.
Oh, okay. And by the way, if I laugh like this, it's edited out, so we're all good. Right. Okay, so what is it like? Okay, so Scott, being a drill sergeant, I remember the days when I first joined boot camp in Fort Jackson, South Carolina, for me. But so what was it like when you were first a drill sergeant? Here you go. Let me back.
Okay.
Here you go. I'm going to back up. I'm going to ask you to compare when you started being a drill sergeant to how it was 5 years when you ended being a drill sergeant. Okay. How did you learn? This is a good one. Okay. The mind of a drill sergeant when you first became a drill sergeant. You had to go to drill sergeant training too, right?
Yes.
Okay. So we're going to touch on that. Okay. All right, Scott, you were in the regular Army for 13 years and the Air Force Reserves for 20 years. Now let's go back to the regular Army. You were a drill sergeant for 5 years. And where were you a drill sergeant at?
Fort Leonard Wood.
And so did you have to go to drill sergeant school to become a drill sergeant?
Yes, you had to do a lot of things, like A knock, B knock. NCO, like
okay,
academies.
Back up. Speak up a little bit louder, and then gather your thoughts and go ahead. And okay, and take 2. And what was that like, drill sergeant school?
I loved it. I loved it. I loved my drill sergeants, especially Drill Sergeant Church. I remember him making me walk a fake dog. I remember him making me do bows and toes, and I had blood coming out of my elbows. I loved it. The Drill Sergeant Church formed me.
How long is drill sergeant school?
I don't recall now.
Like 5 weeks, 8 weeks, 10 weeks. It doesn't matter. Let me ask you another question. Here's a. Scott, how long were you in the Army for before you became a drill sergeant? Let me back up. Sorry, Scott. Scott, how long were you in the Army for when you became a drill sergeant?
8 years.
8 years. And then you were a drill sergeant for 5 years.
Yes.
Okay. And so when you were a drill sergeant, where was your assignment?
Fort Leonard Wood.
Okay. And so you had recruits coming in. What was that like when you were first a drill sergeant? What was it like your first days at a drill sergeant? What was that like? Were you dogging? Were you dogging those civilians?
Oh yes, I dogged them just like they dogged me when I first went in.
And then you were a drill sergeant for 5 years. What was it like? Did you evolve as a drill sergeant? Did you get easier? Did you get more?
You do evolve. Drill sergeant school. Drill sergeants are the toughest job on the planet. They're the best trained individuals on the planet. You send a company of drill sergeants into a war zone, they'll clean it up in a month. I mean, everybody who went through the military, they understand it's the drill sergeants who run the military.
Now, as a drill sergeant, what do you look for in a soldier? What are the signs of a great soldier?
That's interesting. I never was asked that.
Well,
great soldier is a team player. He will go out of his way to protect the people that he's with. I mean, that is what I have done in my life, is protect the people that I've always been with. A drill sergeant, the recruits have good temperament. Most our people going in the military are damn good people.
mm-hmm.
They want to be there. They join. They want to be there. So when you want to be someplace, you're the best. And I wanted to be there when I turned 17. And so that's what you look for. You look for team players. You look for people who are not, you want somebody that's going to cover your back. And that's the sign of good soldiers. And we got great soldiers.
Someone thinking about enlisting and preparing for boot camp, what advice would you give them?
Keep your mouth shut, which was hard for me to do, but keep your mouth shut and don't let your drill sergeants know you.
Don't let them get to know you personally?
Yes.
Why is that?
Because once you start having the drill sergeants constantly mention your name, then all of a sudden you become out in front of everybody instead of staying in the rear. My advice is keep your mouth shut and just go about whatever the drill sergeant tells you to do. Go ahead and do it, but do it as a team player.
So as a drill sergeant for 5 years in the regular Army, what advice would you have to a new recruit, physical fitness? Should they be in shape when they come see you for the first time?
Yes.
How would they? What would you recommend? What kind of?
I would recommend at least go walking, go running, go to the gym.
Push-ups, sit-ups?
Push-ups, sit-ups, inverted crawl. I would recommend work out. Now, the military is going to build you up anyways. And there's going to be things that you're better at than other things. So, I would recommend go to the gym, a couple times a week.
Okay. Now let's talk about the Air Force Reserve. And once again, I'm with Scott Weaver, who was in the regular Army for 13 years. The last 5 years of his 13, he was a drill sergeant. And then he went from regular Army right into the Air Force Reserve for 20 years and traveled quite a bit throughout the whole world, Honduras, Germany, and all over Europe. So what was it like, the transition from Army to Air Force? I'm sure the Army, being a drill sergeant in the Army, helped prepare you for many, for the Air Force. Can you tell us Scott, tell us what was it like when you transitioned from the Army to the Air Force?
Well, when I went from the Army to the Air Force, I went to Category B with the Air Force Reserves, which put me over at Nellis Air Force Base. I trained as security forces. So training as security forces, It was like being in the Army anyway, so it wasn't really a bad transition. Then I got to my 20 years mark. I got to my 20 years mark, and then I transferred to civil engineers.
Mm-hmm.
And the last 13 years of my military, I was a civil engineer. I did heavy equipment. I did cranes. I did plumbing. I did utilities. I did carpentry, concrete work. Everything that I did while I was in the Army.
If someone were to join the service today and they're torn between joining the Army and the Air Force, what would you tell them?
That's interesting. They're both. The both have their. See, the Air Force predominantly is built around the pilots. So you make the pilots. You give them good bedding and food, and you protect them in the planes. But the Army, I mean, it has its same. You protect, the general, your bases. I would say that the Air Force was easier than the Army, but the Air Force has units that most people in this country don't understand. Like, they got combat support, they got PJs. Air Force PJs are probably equal to the Navy SEALs.
What does PJ mean? What does PJ mean?
You're going to have that out.
Okay, we're good. We're good. No.
They're pararescue.
Okay, we're good. Okay.
But they're trained like the Navy SEALs.
All right. Okay, now as a veteran, Scott Weaver. All right, now I'm with Scott Weaver again here. Once again, regular Army 13 years, Air Force Reserve 20 years. Scott, let's talk about either one, the regular Army you were in or the Air Force Reserves. What's one of your proudest moments you can recall as a veteran?
In the Army?
Either one.
So in the Army, one of my...
most proudest moment?
When they put my pumpkin on my head when I became a drill sergeant.
What does that mean, your pumpkin on your head?
It means the hat that the drill sergeants wear, they call it pumpkin. That was one of my proudest.
Okay, what about the Air Force Reserve? Did you have any moments where it stands out?
Absolutely. The Air Force, we did... like my first deployment in the Air Force, I didn't like it because it was cold as hell. It was over at Goose Bay, Labrador. I froze my friggin' bunions off. But the Air Force, the 914th was considered one of the best air wings in the whole country. We went to Panama, we had rodeos. We were a damn good unit for the 914th.
Did you have a lot of friends in the reserves?
Many.
What was it like having such close comrades?
Now, the guys that I hung with in the Air Force, as even Category B, the majority of them were actually from the Army as well. So that's who I stayed with.
Someone thinking about joining today, what would you suggest that they look into in regards to Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, and Space Force? What do you recommend that if someone's just thinking about kicking tires? What recommendations?
To don't second guess themselves. The military is a great. I love the military. I think every male child out of high school should go in the military. Actually, females as well. I mean, I think they should go in right out of high school. I don't think we'd have all this stupid bullcrap that we're having at present day. The military teaches you, hard work. They teach you discipline. They, if people seen what I seen in this world, I think the world would be a much better place.
Okay, I want to touch on being a drill sergeant once again here for Scott Weaver, regular Army, 13 years. In the last 5 years, we already mentioned you were a drill sergeant. What's it like with your other drill sergeants, your comrades, your other drill sergeants? You have a lot of fun with your fellow drill sergeants?
Absolutely.
What is that like? Being in the Army and hanging out with your fellow drill sergeants?
They, Navy SEALs, they have their group of people they hang out with. The Army Recon, the Rangers, the Marine Raiders. Everybody has their group of people. But the drill sergeants are a whole different group of people. We're here to train people and break them down and make them men and women. We train the SEALs, we train the Raiders, we train the Rangers, we train the Green Berets. The drill sergeant trains everybody. The drill sergeant knows they run the military. The officers think they do, but the drill sergeants know we run the military.
Officers have to go to...
yes, they do too.
Tell us about that.
You got OCS, you got West Pointers, you got oh God, what's that name?
They're run by drill sergeants?
Everybody is to go through the military. You have to see a drill sergeant before you see anybody.
Now this is with the Army though. What about the Air Force?
Same thing.
And
Marines, Navy, Coast Guard. We just have different names. The Army is drill sergeant. The Air Force is training instructor, I believe. Mm-hmm. The Navy, I don't know.
It's all good.
But yes, everybody has to go through either a training instructor or a drill sergeant.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Is there such a thing called Hell Week in boot camp?
There is.
What is that about?
Everybody has a great time. Instructors have a great time. They put people through a lot of shit to see if they're going to be able to make it. Yeah, Hell Week's okay.
Okay, and what is it like being a drill instructor, and then when they first come in as a civilian, and then they graduate from boot camp? That must be a good feeling for you.
Yeah, they come in as maggots, and then they leave as men or women.
Okay.
And I hate to say it any other way, but when you're going in the military, you're the lowest on the totem pole, and then when you go through stages and you see yourself, then you go through stages, and then at the end stage, when you put for like the Army, they give you the
Castle?
yeah.
Okay, let's just talk about here now. We're going to talk about when you got out. Is that cool?
Okay.
I mean, we're going to just touch on that a little bit. All right.
Go.
So, all right, Scott Weaver, regular Army, 13 years, Air Force Reserve, 20 years. He enlisted in the Army in 1975 at age 17. So let's see here. That's 27 years you served with Uncle Sam.
33 years.
33. Excuse me. How did I get that? I'm sorry. Let me repeat that. That's bad. Okay. Can't add, right?
Right.
13 and 20. I'm looking at the age 17 here. I did some math. I just added that to the 20. All right, Scott Weaver, regular Army, 13 years, Air Force Reserve, 20 years, and you enlisted in the regular Army in 1975. So that's 23.
That's 13 years in the Army, 20 years in the Air Force. I enlisted under Gerald Ford and retired under Barack Obama.
And what did you do when you got out of the service?
Absolutely nothing, because when you're reserves, it's like you're almost out anyways.
Uh-huh.
I work for the state. I'm retiree from the state.
Okay, so let's go there. When did you, off the record, and we'll go back to it. So when did you start working for the state?
1988. 1988 is when I went from the Army to the Air Force.
Okay.
1988 is also when I got hired at the state.
Okay.
And if we want to go there also, I also got hired at St. Johnsbury to unload freight.
So once again, Scott Weaver, you got out in out of the Army in what year?
1988.
And then you joined the Air Force Reserve, and you also started working full-time where?
For the state.
So, here we have a veteran with the Army and an Air Force reservist, and after 13 years with the Army, he gets out of the Army and works for the state.
Yes.
That would be New York State?
Yes.
What kind of job did you have with New York State?
I was a crane operator.
Wow.
I was a heavy equipment operator.
Heavy equipment. What kind of equipment did you work on?
Dozers, backhoes, loaders, bobcats, everything.
Okay.
Graders.
Okay. Okay, we're wrapping. Okay.
Tractor trailers.
We're wrapping this up right now. Anything else you want to add, Scott?
No, that the military. I love Pete Hegseth. He's my favorite.
We're not going to go there.
Okay.
I'm not going to go politics.
Right.
No, because then you got a Democrat who might just turn this off.
Okay.
And there are veterans that are Democrats too.
Yeah.
You've met them. I'm sure you have. Yeah, I mean, I'm with you 100%, but I can't.
If you could get me into seeing Pete Hegseth, that'd be great.
Well, I'll tell you what. If you were to talk to the camera, what would you say to Pete right now?
I think Pete Hegseth is doing okay. There's a lot of bad things coming out of Venezuela and other parts of the world. Okay. These bad things are killing Americans. Let Pete Hegseth do his job.
Mm-hmm. Looking at the camera now, I'm gonna edit me out, but I want to hear you talk. Why do you feel you deserve to meet the Department of War head, Pete? Why do you? What makes you?
I got advice that I would like to give him, and that's where I'll end it.
Okay, Scott Weaver, what kind of advice do you have for our Department of War today?
I got things that I could tell him, and same thing with Tulsi Gabbard. And
you know we're going to edit that. We're not going to take that. I mean, once again, we can't talk about it. I can't.
I know.
It's called Stay Neutral, Stay Vanilla.
Yes.
And then more people will love you.
Yeah.
Okay,
I get it.
All right. Is there anything you want to add to this?
No, that I enjoyed my time in the military, that there's a lot of things... There's a lot of things in the military, if you do a career, I mean, you get discounts on many places. You go to the federal parks.
Healthcare for life?
Healthcare for life. Any state, you can go there. Every base has some things that you can rent. RVs. You can hunt on any. If you do a career, you can hunt on the government properties or whatever. I mean, being in the military gave me it. I've seen the world over. I've been on all 7 continents. I got discounts on cruises. I got discounts on plane fares. Discounts on trains. People look at you. People feel safe when there's military people around. The military is the greatest thing on the planet. U.S. military is the best, strongest military on the planet. There's a whole lot that is offered.
Okay, we're wrapping it up. Thanks a lot for your time right now. And Scott, have a great day every day, no matter what. Appreciate your time right here.
Okay, brother.
Appreciate you. I appreciate your time right now, Scott Weaver. Have a great day every day, no matter what. Thank you, man.
Okay, brother. Thank you.
Okay, now let me hear you look at the camera and say, I am American veteran.
I am an American veteran.
Let me hear you say it a little louder.
I am American veteran, and I do love my country.
Amen.
And I am very protective of people around me.
I am American veteran. One more time. Can you say that again, please?
I am an American veteran. I am very protective of the people around me. I serve proudly, and I love the military. I love the drill sergeants. I love the Air Force. I love the bases that I went. Everything about the military, I love.
Scott Weaver, thanks for your time. Have a great day every day.
Thank you.